All right, and here we go. Welcome to the 69th episode, which should be very nice, of You Had Me at Halo, where we talk about everything to do with one of gaming's most storied and sometimes turbulent franchises. But today we are, looking at a new, more promising dawn for Halo fans as we're on the precipice of Halo Infinite Season 3, nearly 16 months after the launch of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. We hope to be nearing a new era for the game with, more satisfying amount of content and better cadence. But additionally, we just finished up one of the most exciting HCS events that we've had. Yep. And we're very excited about today's guest that's going to help us break some of those things down. And then in addition to that, we have somebody on the panel that's had a chance to try out some of the Season 3 content. So we definitely want to dive into some of that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and meet today's Spartan team. First up, we have our guest, Spartan Arib, a.k.a. NuclearBlaze. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Great to have you here. It's always exciting to have new Halo perspectives. I think sometimes people need to hear some fresh insight from people, and it's always interesting to see how different people have approached the game over the years, and so really look forward to kind of jumping into some of your backstory, and then also get some of your thoughts from a more competitive standpoint. So before we get into that though, let's also meet our other Spartan panel member. Today we have Spartan Aarsal, aka Mr. SoulBlazerz. How's it going, Spartan Soul?
Going pretty well. I feel like I just got that the post conference sickness that everyone eventually gets. Got it.
Well, you guys are
feeling in the back of my throat and dizziness and god.
Oh man. Well, I'm guessing when you guys pack into a room like that after a few years of being in the bubble, everybody's all of our immune systems are probably not ready to fight off stuff. So if one person in that room was sick, you're probably all going to be sick this week. So
that was the first time I went to an event and I didn't get sick.
That's true. When I went to Orlando, I was like crazy sick, right? Like during the event. When we're here like a day in, I'm like, man, something feels so different. I don't have a pounding headache this entire time.
Oh man. Well, so we will try to rush through this thing before before all that stuff creeps up on you. And then, as a note, a couple of our Spartans are off this week. But that hopefully will be joining us again next week when we dive into the impressions of our Season 3 stuff. So Spartan Mike and Spartan Austin will be back with us again soon. Finally, I'm your host today, Spartan Abe, a.k.a. OneBadMutha. All right, guys. Arib, I think we're going to just start off with you, man.
Sounds good.
All right. So, let's just kind of, before we kind of get into some of your, impressions of the content or everything, just want to, just get a little bit of a, background from you, like what got you into Halo? When did you start to play it? And, let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I started playing Halo before I could even remember. That's for sure. My brothers got me into Halo when I was, there's an old film of me playing when I was 5 years old, like the last Halo CE mission. It was uneasy, but I could barely move, control on the ground, just moving my hands. That'd
be the Duke, right? That thing would be massive.
Yeah, that thing was massive. In my childhood. It was fun.
As a 5-year-old playing with the Duke, you must have had some guns then, huh? That was a big controller. That was crazy. Wasn't meant for kids for sure. So CE is when you kind of came into it then, huh?
CE is my first Halo, and then after every Halo after that, I played every Halo after that, chronologically.
Okay. And for you, when did it become more than just
competitive?
The game? Yeah.
Towards the end of Halo 5, actually the beginning of Halo Infinite, because even my first event that I went to, it was more of a casual thing. My friend mentioned kind of like a social team for his org to just go to the event, get our name
out there.
What was the
first event?
Have some fun. Raleigh in 2021. 2021,
yeah.
Raleigh,
so
December.
Infinite event.
It was crazy. Yeah, there were so many people because there was so much hype. So that was an insane event
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
So like before you started to like look at it professionally, like were you really competitive with it online?
I was just a campaign kid actually. I was a
Really?
campaign kid until my friend got me into multiplayer like in 2016. And even when he got me into multiplayer, I still played campaign when I was by myself. Like it's all I cared about. I used to watch Naked Eli's videos, like the speedrun videos, and I had a lot of fun with campaign. That's for sure.
That's a big switch, man. So you came on then. So did you even play a lot of multiplayer before Infinite, or?
We never really had Xbox Live during the 360 era. We tried, but like just teleporting everywhere, like it was
Yeah.
really painful. We played LAN parties on Halo Reach, a little bit of Halo 3, but I just had my brothers to play with, really, and my little
Yeah.
sister.
It was really just a split screen game. It's
Yeah.
like, and you think you're the best at split screen because like I'm kicking these guys' butts. Like I'm clearly the best player ever. You go online even once and you're like, yeah, no.
Yeah, facts.
It's amazing how humbling it can be. I do remember that I didn't get a chance to do a lot of split screen myself back in the day because there wasn't a lot of people by me. I was unlike you guys, I was like a full adult when I was playing Halo. So, like my friends all had like real jobs. They'd moved out of the state. But I did get I remember one time I did play split screen and I just like annihilated. Like they just got angry. And I thought I was the greatest thing ever. When it came to Halo. It's just amazing, like that skill gap though, right? Like you just go from if you're playing against like just the everybody's, you can be amazing. Yeah. And then as soon as you get in there, you realize how many really, really good players there is. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yep. But that's the only way to get better, right? Is if you're only playing with people like your siblings, a lot of fun, but you're never gonna get like good in like an overall sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what happened with Smash, I would say, right? Like Super Smash Bros. Melee, you could only compete with people in your locality. So if they weren't that good, then it was hard to get better in Smash.
Yeah. So like what changed then? Like what made you decide to try to becoming a professional?
When I realized I understood the game like pretty well. When I was watching the game and I realized that I understood like what the pros were trying to do in the game, and like even the casters weren't really mentioning it, and I realized this might be something worth like looking into and continue grinding. So then I just kept grinding, and I was like, I think I can do it.
What do you mean by grinding?
So I just watched a lot of film. So I watched a lot of VODs and I wrote notes and stuff of stuff I thought that they were doing that was really good. Played matchmaking, and a lot of times like you're versing pros and whatnot matchmaking. So whenever you beat them, it feels really good, right? It feels like, hey, maybe I can do this. But after I got like a good placing on then, at least for FFA, then that gave me a lot of confidence to like continue taking this really seriously.
So that's like really interesting, because this is something, like I always think about it like, oh, these pros have been playing this for years and years and like, been so you kind of just saw it and you just thought, hey, this is something I could do. Like for the average, guy or girl out there that's watching, like that just wants to get a little bit better. Like maybe they're not even trying to be in the pros, but they're just like trying to get better at stuff like that. Like how much do you think of the being good at the competitive part of Halo is like really understanding the strategies and where to be versus like just having that really quick twitch, like
the mechanical skill.
Yeah,
mechanical skill, yeah.
like I was watching some of those guys sniping, and I'm just like, my God, if I try that 100 times, maybe I'll get that once. But they're just like every single time they're jumping up and no scoping guys from across the map in the air. I'm like, that's crazy. But but there's probably some in between, right? Like there's probably like how much would you weigh the strategy versus
well, honestly, like definitely strategy more, but also you'll be pretty surprised. Like you'll see people do things that you can't do, but you're not able to do it because you're telling yourself you can't do it, right? Like it's part of a mental thing. Once you start believing that you can really do it, you'll see yourself like playing a lot better. Honestly, once I overcame that mental barrier, then my like performance skyrocketed for sure. But I definitely like will say strategy is a lot more important than mechanical skill. Like sometimes I'll get into Diamond 6 lobbies or something like that, and then they're outgunning me, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, how am I losing influence down here? It's crazy.
Keep in mind, Diamond 6 is what they insult people with. when they play.
Oh wait, well, that's like the scrubs. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, you know
That-
what it
yeah,
is?
yeah.
You know what they call them,
Diamond
bro?
the scrubs.
They
All
call
right.
us
The Onyx
bots,
Diamond
dude.
Six.
That's what they call.
Well, I'm basically a marine. Like, well, if well, I mean, then I'm way off. Then, yeah, we're all just marine bots at this point. So basically, if you're our listening and you're under, if you're Diamond Six and
Oh,
under,
no.
you're a marine bot. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that is that is interesting though, because a lot, like you're talking about the strategy. My strategy is awful. I get people yell at me if they're trying to play, play competitively, because I just want to go out there and outgun people. But you're saying that a lot of it is just about knowing what to do and not just
just being in the right spots at the right time, like timing. You can't just go in Halo Infinite. You can't just go in there by yourself and just kill the whole team. You really need to time it with the rest of your team.
Is that like a thing specific to Infinite, you would say?
No, the old classic Halos had that as well for sure. Never competed in them, but watching the VODs, you can kind of get that feel. Halo 5 definitely has some of that, but you can still do a lot on your own. Like it's a different game. It's hard to compare H5 and Infinite, I would say.
Yeah, it definitely is the being able to boost every time you're at like one shot and things like that. It changes. It really changes how the game plays. So so now you're working your way up to being a professional player. Like, tell us a little bit about that, like your experience, like how newcomer friendly is the Halo esports scene been?
How newcomer friendly? It's actually pretty newcomer friendly, at least compared to other esports. I've watched after, like, at first I didn't realize how newcomer friendly it was, and then I researched other esports and realized that not every esport has like 3 or 4 open bracket tournaments, LAN tournaments every year that anybody can just compete in. And also like online tournament. We're about to get one March 12th, I believe.
Yeah.
It's going to be the open bracket tournament, and that's like anybody can do it, and it's really open. One thing I would say is hard is networking. If you really want to make it as a pro, like you'd have to learn how to network. Like that's something I'm working towards right now, or just meet the right people so you can team with them and connect with the right people and whatnot.
Oh, I thought when you said networking, the first thing I thought about was desync. So.
Oh,
man.
So okay, I got to ask you these. You know what? I'm abandoning all of our questions here, Soul, because
Go ahead. Those are just
selfish
questions.
I'm selfishly just going to ask him all these things to figure this stuff out. So like all these pros, I mean, do you find that they all have like perfect connections when they're practicing, or do they all kind of experience like really similar issues with the networking and that kind of stuff? And is this like, is that something that they also kind of learn to work around and become really good at making sure they don't get those same issues that the average person gets?
Yeah. So one lucky thing about this game is that it is a teamwork based game. So
Okay.
it is important. Like even when your connection's bad, there's still a lot you can improve on. Connection is definitely, like, it does take a toll, like, on people for sure. Like I was talking to Rami, he plays in Cloud9. He was telling us that like, man, he said he was losing to some bad teams online during their scrims and whatnot, and then they make it to LAN and they made it out of open bracket. They made it to pool play. Only 4 teams made it to pool play out of the open bracket, which is insane. And they beat Native Red, which is like, a really big team, but they didn't have Druk, so it's understandable. But still, it's like the difference between online and LAN. Even for me, actually, like we scrimmed FFAs online, and every time I wasn't doing too hot on the online ones. I was getting like 7,
Really
6.
quick, for those watching and don't know, FFA meaning just free for all. It's like,
Yeah.
and they specifically play only on one map.
We play on
the entire time.
Aquarius, 8 people, and in the top 4 out of the 8 people advance to the next round. So on Scrim, we try getting top 4, we try getting first. Depends on how hard the lobby is and whatnot. So I wasn't even doing too hot like online. But once it came to LAN, I made it to semifinals. I got to top 16. So it's just such a big difference. There really is a difference. There definitely is, I would say. Like,
so what you're saying is that instead of like just yelling about my connection, I just need to be focused on playing like a team player.
Okay, for 4s, yeah. For 4s, you definitely want to focus on your team play, your teamwork. And if you made the right play and you died because of connection, like, you're not supposed to get mad about that. Just in general, like, that's one thing that helped me online as well. I was like 0 and 8 in one scrim, and I was like, it's okay. Every life was the right play. It's okay. Just keep making that same play. it just didn't work out because my trade didn't go through. Like the melee trades are so hard to
God.
get in this game. Sorry. Online at least.
Yeah, that's the tough part about the online because you see it too. Like you look through people's rankings, right? It's like, why is this
Yeah.
person's the lowest rated guy? Like, I mean, I know there's Smurfs and stuff like that, but you could just tell like it's somebody with a lot of, has played a lot of games, is the lowest rated guy, and then all of a sudden he just tore it up, and then you see the opposite. You see somebody that's like with a lot of games that's high up that just got smoked, and you just see that is, I think, is that something like you guys ever talk about, or like do you get like and is this something that gets communicated? I know that 343 does work with the competitive community a lot. Is that something that they really talk to them a lot about, is like the net codes and things like that in the game?
Not really.
No? Okay.
They mentioned they're like trying to work on it, but it seems like maybe they're stuck like at a standstill right now. But we are gonna have server maintenance before season 3, which is cool.
Yeah.
So maybe that will help.
Okay. No, that's
Honestly,
cool.
most of it is like player based, right? Most of it is just
Yeah.
like the latency difference and whatnot. Because to be honest, in the beginning of the game when people are complaining a lot, I wasn't having too many issues. Like I think it's partially because we have fiber, maybe, and we have like really good internet over here, so like wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as some other people I saw. Other people I saw, like they were just every like fight, one burst was probably a blank, which is insane to me. But for
Yeah.
us, it wasn't that bad. It was still tough, but not that bad.
Gotcha. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff on that. So, all right. So you've been, how many of you've started to go to the events, just really in the last, really since this game came out then, right? That's when you started going in person.
Yeah.
So, so tell us about like some of the stories or maybe some cool things that have happened since you started going.
Okay. I mean, man, experiencing it in person is definitely another experience. Like watching Formal, Rocket, Pistola. Like this was game 5 and Slayer against Optic, and Formal against like his own team, pretty much, right? Like he popped off against them. He was playing for Sentinels. He was subbing in for Roll 2 because of like previous drama. Roll 2 couldn't make it to the event, and then they ended up knocking Optic out. Like Formal himself, he popped off. He went like 20 kills or something like that. So seeing that in person was just something else, man. And then seeing upsets in person, like there's so many upsets that happen in the open bracket play where you guys can't see it because it's not streamed. It's just in person. So you have to walk around. I walk right behind the players that are playing, and I can see them play. And then the trash talk that happens, it's another experience.
Oh my God,
like,
so much, dude.
It's a lot of trash talk. Like people will get up mid game and just point at the guy and just yell at that guy like you suck or whatever it is. Like it's funny. Manglers got GA'd, like gentleman's agreement. Like you can use Manglers in KC. So there's one team that called themselves Mangler abusers or something like that. So then they're using the
really
something Mangler something, Team Manglers or whatever it was, and then they're using the Mangler, and all I hear like as I'm walking around is, "Drop the Mangler! Like stop using the Mangler!" Like they're just like yelling at them. Like, it was so funny, man.
Oh, that's awesome stuff, man. It is kind of interesting, getting a little bit more exposure to the competitive side. I'll be, candid as somebody, I've been Halo's been like my favorite game since really the Xbox One or the original Xbox launched. And, I played it more casual, like it was more of a big team battle. I was kind of a casual guy up until I think Halo 5. I started playing a lot of ranks, but I still didn't really watch the competitions. But it does open your eyes a little bit to just how deep this game can be, right? It does feel like a sport. Like you watch like over here, you guys are in Canada, right? So over here in the US, we watch real football. All the depth that there is in the sorry, I just I give everybody shit. Like you kind of watch real football and you see all the depth and the strategy, and it's like it's not good enough just to be skilled. You got to have the right strategies and things like that, and then you start to see the same. Like Halo to me seems like it's the closest that I've seen, and maybe Counter-Strike on PC, and there's some other PC games that are similar, but on console I feel like it's the closest thing we got to like a real sport. I mean,
on console, I have to agree. I can't think of
actually
really can't think of any other game that
even
really
COD
got
is
to that
still
level. COD
PC,
switched
right?
to PC, right? So and during like H5 era, 4.3, yeah, man, it has to be. I feel like console was, I guess Smash, right?
Oh yeah.
Smash is
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
Okay, in terms of like that sort of like just combination of strategy and skill,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's
every game has so much depth to it. I only know about Infinite, and I know like
Mm.
just watching from like the spectator's point of view, you don't know what's going on, to be honest. And then when you're like, when I finally understand what's going on, it's just like so your game has more depth than you can imagine.
Dude,
Like there's so much
during one
depth
of
I
the
can explain.
finals, the matches, right? We're watching it, and the observer's on this one person, and the person gets like a kill or two. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. The whole time, Arib's like, look at the little scoreboard or whatever. It's like that player right there. He's about to get 3 kills. And what does it say? Frosty gets 1 kill. Frosty gets a 2nd kill. Frosty gets a 3rd kill. And I'm like, what the hell? I would have completely missed that if he didn't tell me to look at it. And I was just looking at what the observer was showing me, which was not the right thing, you know?
Yeah.
no, and that's awesome. And you know, it's one of the debates. You know, I don't know how much you. I don't know if you're like Soul and you actually go to Twitter, Reddit, or not Twitter, Reddit, but Halo Reddit. You know, and look at the toxicity, and you know, go on Twitter and even YouTube, like all this. You know, there's a lot of infighting. I'm sure you've noticed, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of infighting amongst Halo fans. You know, whether sprint versus non-sprint. In competitive, you know, like when what's his name got up there and talked about, you know, Halo's always been a competitive game. Like that was meme to death, and you know, that was like YouTube to death about, you know, because a lot of developers, you know, came out, you know, like Halo 2 was initially built to be multiplayer, was really meant to be just a fun sandbox first, competitive like later. You know, now I'm curious what your kind of opinions on that is before I kind of throw mine, and so maybe you can jump into, like, I see like those two sides butting heads, and that always frustrates me because I feel like those two kind of help each other in they don't realize it, but it doesn't have to be one or another, right? Like they kind of both inform each other in some ways. But I don't know, like any thoughts from the competitive community, like when you guys hear that stuff. Do you guys still play a lot of the fun just go on there and just bullshit and, you know, screw around a big team and stuff? Like, do you guys do all that stuff too, or is it a totally different, you don't even mess around with that part of the game?
I don't as much as I should, but a lot of people do, man. Like my teammate, he plays Super Fiesta a lot, just like to warm up, whatever. Every time I play BTB, I enjoy it a lot. You'll see pros like actually like King Nick will just join like random custom game lobbies like FFA and he'll just play in them, you know, like a lot of pro, I've seen Squala and Super Fiesta. I think it is pretty common. I think a lot of people do play the social game modes, but majority definitely is ranked for competitive players. I definitely think they can help each other. You're right. Like, me as a competitive player, I'll still have fun on the social side, and a social player, I'm sure, will have fun on the competitive side. I'm trying to think another game, like Valorant. You won't see a competitive player play Escalation, really, like the gun game version and thing. That's you don't see that happening. That's more like stuck with casuals or just playing that. You'll see them play you'll see them play deathmatch. Deathmatch is a little bit competitive to warm up their gun, but usually, almost all the time, it's just like ranked. There's no other like really fun game mode that competitors can have fun into, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I, you know, so like I guess I'll let you, because you've been a little bit quiet here. Like, do you ever any thoughts on that? Like, because you play both. I know you and me both.
Yeah,
kind
I mean,
jump into both of those.
You know what's interesting is the pro community, and it's something I didn't really realize before, and Forge are like intrinsically connected. Like in season 3, these maps are opening up to be forgeable, like the main maps, and I'll tell you right away, you're gonna have people like in the pro community go and start editing things. Be like, no, this jump here doesn't make sense, or this thing's here's a little too steep, or whatnot. One thing I saw all these guys do, even at the event, the first thing they do is they'd go to because all these computers, all these Xboxes are connected to the internet. They'd go to the friggin' Fortune, find Octagon, and just start playing that for like an hour to warm up, which is apparently a very normal thing that I had no idea people did, you know?
Yeah. No, you're right. Like, so I always thought about it because you know, and again, half of our panel is more into just the casual stuff, right? Like I said, I play ranked now. I do kind of half and half. I play ranked, and I'm not trying to be a pro.
Yeah,
I'm too old to be a pro. Like I'm past my prime. Pretty soon I'm going to be like one of those memes. Like I'm 50 years old. I jump. You know, I'm getting up there, but you know, like half of our panel is like totally casual. You know, some of us play the rank stuff, And I've always thought, even as somebody that would, that didn't take it that seriously, I always thought the competitive side made Halo's casual stuff play better, right? Because the maps that were the most fun to play on were the ones that were the best for the competitive. They were balanced. They had a flow. They were, you know what I'm saying? Like some of the, like, I've been trying out more of the custom maps. And some of them are played really, really well. Shout out to John, who's got some really awesome ones out there. And there's some other ones that play really well. But then you get into some that are really pretty, and they're just like, ugh, like they just, there's no flow.
Like Salvation, it looks amazing, but there's a reason I don't play Halo CE anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, and that's and even the balancing, like to me, the balance and making sure everything in the sandbox kind of offsets each other, things, like that all. To me, again, the competitive feedback to that aspect of it does actually make the casual stuff more fun, right? And it just makes sure there's more balance, better flow, all that stuff in there. So, and I also think, like, I look at like the HCS stuff, like even if you're not somebody that is in that does raise the tide for the game, like, right? Like you get more people interested in the competitive stuff that's more people that are like, hey, it's like when you watch LeBron or in his prime or Michael Jordan in his prime, and now you want to go out to the basketball court and play against your friends and practice the back down mid-range Michael Jordan fadeaway, right? Like, and that's kind of the same thing. I think that, the pro scene kind of brings that to the game, kind of raises that tide. And then, vice versa, you get a bunch of casual, make it accessible, give people other things they can screw around with, and maybe they can practice that Michael Jordan move in a setting that's not very serious, right? So like that's kind of how I've always approached it.
It's more prevalent than ever with video games and esports. Like you'll watch I'll watch, like, I don't know, the League of Legends finals and whatnot, and then right away you're like, I want to play this game again, even though I know I shouldn't. Like, I want to play this. It got me excited. Look at these new moves they're trying. Everyone starts trying the new moves and they suck at it and they're terrible at it and it's not working well.
But do we just? Oh, there's Blaze. Yeah. No, you're right. And I watched the competition, and I'm like, I was watching those like no scope snipes. Yeah. I got jumped right into the snipe mode. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, seriously, right?
Those are insane. You don't even have aim assist on those, right? So it's like, it's crazy.
Those are crazy, man.
Yeah.
Do any of the competitive guys use controller, or are they all mouse and keyboard?
Everyone's controller. There's not a single. There's one MNK guy who, for the first time, made it to the grand finals in free for all. But other than him, Dog 7, there's nobody else.
Really? Okay. Yeah. It's because they want the auto aim then.
Yeah, the aim assist is just so important. I don't know if we had anybody really give it like not many people have given it a second chance after the update. So I can see more people getting into it because the update definitely made it easier.
Yeah.
But it's still really difficult. It's still really hard.
Okay, so you're still better off. So all these guys I'm watching doing this
controller, yeah.
Really? That is just
dude. Nuts. I remember when they first announced that they're gonna be like an open, it's gonna be controller, mouse, keyboard together. I'm like, no, man, I don't want another mouse and keyboard dominated game. And yeah, that did not happen.
Well, that is interesting. I never expected that. I assumed most of these guys that were just pulling off those snipes were on a mouse and keyboard, but you're saying just get good with the controller then. Have you ever tried the mouse and keyboard?
Yeah, I played on it a couple nights ago, a lot, because I sent my controller in to get repaired. I don't see myself ever getting like a competitive rank, like maybe 1550 or something, like low Onyx, but not higher than that. I don't think so. It's tough, yeah.
Okay, well that's good.
But I do see a lot of other players on MNK, for sure.
Okay.
In my lobbies, I'll notice that they swipe like left and right really fast, and you can tell they're on MNK.
All right. So basically, what you're saying is, so everybody who's playing Halo right now, make sure you have cross matching, so you can just take advantage of those mouse and keyboard noobs.
It's funny. It's like at our level, people are like, "Man, I don't want to play against PC players," and it's like, nah, they don't want to play against you.
That's really interesting. So any other, like, we're going to dive into in a minute. I want to dive into the upcoming season 3 and kind of get into some of the sandbox and things there. But before we do, like any other like thoughts or things you wanted to kind of touch on with the pro scene? Anything we kind of missed?
The pro scene. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about concerning the pro scene. There's a lot of people like me who are trying to like break out or whatever, and it's very few tend to succeed. Like it's a really difficult way to go. So I mean, like definitely my advice to anybody who's trying is have a second option, right? Have a backup option, because like there's no guarantee this is gonna work out for you. So like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. But I guess it can be lucrative to the guys that get up there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get up on a team and actually win some things. So, all right, well, that's awesome stuff. And feel free to, like, as you kind of go through some of the things for season 3. If you remember some tie-ins, feel free to jump in with that stuff. But let's go into that. So this week we're in a warm up, right? Like we are getting ready for some season 3 stuff. Finally, it looks like when this stuff drops, the game will start to feel a little bit more. I don't want to say complete. That's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Like
a little bit more
satisfying.
Filling, I guess. Satisfying, yeah. Right? Like it's got some meat to it.
yeah. I mean, it's been a kind of how. Well, I guess let's first start with the ranked rotations, because there really hasn't been very many maps in ranked, right? They pulled out so many. We just talked about that stuff when, making sure all this stuff flows and is balanced. And there really isn't a whole lot there. Do you have any thoughts about that? What do the players think about having so few options? And would they just rather have, very few maps that just play really, really well rather than a lot more?
I remember in the start, I remember people complaining, but I'm trying to remember. Personally, me, I don't mind too much about not having a like a lot of maps, because I need to personally to perfect these maps. And like the other players that have played a lot more than me have already learned a lot more about the maps, like the nade spots, the different spots here and there. So I'm already behind them. So it's already for me, it's it's okay if it stays in this map for a little bit because I can catch up to them. But if a new map comes out, then I have to learn as fast as them, which I don't have the time to do. So I'm gonna fall even more behind. So that's one issue with new maps. But for sure, I feel like new maps are almost, other than that, they're almost always a bonus. Just more variety, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, like you're saying, when you are competitive, like every map has way more depth than it does to the average person, right? Like that's a lot more to learn. Where the average Joe Schmo, it's just like, where's the power weapon? where's the overshield or the invis going to spawn at? Which direction do I run off of the spawn? And then,
dude, they'll be playing the pit or Empyrean, and someone will be like, "Go sword, go sword." They'll be like, "Yo, there's no sword in this map, man. What are you talking about?"
Oh man,
that was me for a little while. I'm not gonna lie.
So we've I guess the first thing is they're introducing a new weapon. This seems kind of exciting to me, but they got the Bandit coming in. Where do you see this placement in the sandbox? And then second part of this is, as somebody who has been aspiring to play with the professional scene and talks to some guys there, what is sort of the general impression you're getting about the new weapon? Like, are people feeling this is going to potentially change the meta of the game? Are they excited? Are they concerned? Like, what is some of the feelings you're
Well, I talked to a lot of people. The general consensus was that it's really good, but it's too weak. Like, it's too weak to fit in the current sandbox. Every other gun has a faster TTK than Commando and BR. So it's like, what's the point in using? If it's a pickup, what's the point in even picking it up if just a BR is better? BR has more range as well, kills them faster. But if it was the beginning weapon, if it was a starting weapon, that would change a lot. So if everybody was on the same playing field using that, from what I heard, they were liking it. They enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks fun. It sounds punchy.
Yeah.
Now you played. Neither one of you guys played a ton of Halo 5, right?
My brother did. He played a lot.
So actually, that's what got me into not competitive, but kind of into competitive first was
Okay.
SWAT. I played a lot of SWAT in H5.
Oh.
Like that's why I played that really seriously. Played with my friends.
So some people have compared it to the Magnum in Halo 5. Would
Yeah.
you say that's accurate or not really?
So it's a 5-shot perfect. I haven't used it myself, but I've seen gameplay. I could see how people say it's accurate because it doesn't have intense range.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how people say it, but this time it's a 3-shot melee, right? Not a 2-shot.
3-shot melee. Yeah, that's
3-shot melee.
Mhm.
So that's the only difference, I guess. And
Okay.
then, yeah. So it does less damage, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Soul, you had a chance
Mhm.
to try it out. Did you try it out enough to like come away with any?
Yeah, I mean, what's nice is so at the event they had these PCs set up for season 3.
Yep.
You just walk in, and I remember sitting there, and I'm like, dude, I can see the entire battle pass. I can see all the pro skins. They're revealing this stuff tomorrow. I guess I can just do this. And I'm thinking, I'm like, man, should I like ask Unicheck if I'm allowed to post these? And then like later that night, I see someone has taking pictures of all the battle passes, everything, and put it up online anyways. So I really should have just done it.
Oh
But
man.
yeah. So what we did was we set up a map on Chasm, the newer map, and made it Bandit starts. So right away you're feeling it. Admittingly, for some reason I couldn't get the vibration working on the controllers, and I know this is blasphemy to every pro or competitive player out there, but yeah, I played vibration on. All right, it makes it feel better. I know instantly when I'm being attacked. All right, so I can figure out where I'm at. Wait, Abe, don't tell me you turn vibration on.
I turn it off, man.
Let's
No.
I could give it shit about vibration,
Let's go.
haptics.
Even the
Yeah,
triggers?
man. I don't need. Yeah, I don't need vibration in my hands. Pause.
But yeah, so the weapon feels really good. I mean, one thing I'll say about 343, and not everyone will agree, but man, their audio team for their weapon sounds and things like that are next level.
Mhm.
Like even just like you're watching the pro scenes in the there, and then the sniper shot just like echoes throughout the entire arena every time it fires, stuff like that. The Bandit, it feels good. It definitely feels good, but like my brother said, like I don't see a place for it with the BR at the same time. Like I was talking a bit with them and a few other pros about it, and they're like, listen, like even if you start with bandits, right, but then BRs are on the spawn, suddenly the BR becomes a power weapon. So do you
Right.
balance it like a power weapon? Do you give a bunch of spawns everywhere? Do you not? You know what I mean? It kind of like muddies the water a little bit.
So what do you think they need to do to like, do they need to make this a 4-shot kill, or do they need to have a scope on it? Like what would make it equal to like the bandit or to the battle rifle and the commando?
If you're asking me, my advice is to remove the BR. Just no BR on the map at all. Have only the bandit and the commando.
Okay.
For those kind of weapons.
All right, NuclearBlaze. What do you think, man?
How do you alter the bandit so that I can fit? I guess the only real option to like if you want to keep everything else the same is to increase the like what do you call it, like the time it shoots between bullets. So increase the rate of fire.
Okay.
But then at that point it's not the same gun though. At that point it's a different gun.
Right. So you don't think this really does replace the DMR? Because the DMR was pretty much
you could put a scope on it and then it would pretty much be a DMR, right?
Okay.
But if they would have do DMR, they would have just made a DMR.
Yeah,
right?
they would just DMR,
Yeah.
They're eventually, I'm assuming, gonna do that.
Okay.
Probably.
So it's still something that's got to be tuned in order for it to make sense. I think I'm a very hopeful. I guess I'm asking you guys because I'm trying to. I mean, not trying to lead the witness. I'm looking for what I want to hear because I really did like the Halo 5 Magnum. To me, that was one of the reasons why I played the hell. Soul knows I played over 2,000 hours of Halo 5 multiplayer.
Wow.
And I'm not somebody that has a. I'm not somebody that has that much time in gaming either. So like that just tells you that ate up like 90% of my gaming time for years.
How did Halo 5 do it? If this is supposed to be really similar to the Halo 5 Magnum, right? Was it just considered a secondary?
No.
Did you spawn with it?
In Halo 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, Halo 5 you spawn with the Magnum.
And the BR or just a Magnum?
No, just a Magnum.
The BR was a big
in the air, and
but the BR was too strong, so then they nerfed it.
Then, they did tone down the BR and the DMR, right? Like both of them.
I think so.
Yeah. They were both punchier, or they both were more like I would still run to both of those weapons.
Yeah.
Initially, when Halo 5 launched, over time they did nerf it a little bit, so it was almost like they were just useless on the and that's always a challenge, right? Like you bring something in here and you don't balance it right. Now all of a sudden, like in Halo 5, it was almost like it didn't even matter. You didn't need to pick up the Halo 2 version of the BR was sometimes worth picking up, but like the regular one, you just stuck with the Magnum, and
Really?
most people did. Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
didn't really bother with the other ones. So you're kind of seeing it right now. It doesn't sound like, because the Halo 5 Magnum was all around really good, unless you got a power weapon. Bandit right now, it sounds like it would only make sense then if you took off the other ones. Off
And do you see that ever happening, Areem? Do you think the pro players would be okay with just no BR at all in the game?
Yeah, they'd be okay
Really?
with it. Yeah. But I feel like it's better to just tune everything. There's probably a way.
Yeah, I almost feel like they should have started at tuning it upwards, like started stronger, and then you kind of move it. But I don't know.
Yeah, right.
You're right, because
Yeah, that's how most games do it.
Yeah, because then everybody wants to pick it up, and
Yep.
It looks like it's fun to use though. Like if you kind of watch people shooting with it, you can imagine. That's the one thing with Halo 5s was really nice for, like, if you're strafing and mid-range hip firing. That was a lot of fun to use.
I mean, it's a new weapon, right? We've played this game. People have been playing the game since launch. I've been playing the game for more than a year with the exact same weapons, the exact same sandbox.
Yeah.
Now we're getting a new weapon, which, by the way, has only been a thing in Halo since Halo 5. Every other previous Halo game, whatever the sandbox was, that's it, guys. You don't get new weapons, you don't get new vehicles, no equipment, blah, blah, blah. It's just maps.
Right.
When did that flamethrower come out in Halo C?
Okay, I think it was always there in the PC build, I think.
That blew my mind, man. Seeing that actually blew my mind.
Speaking of CE, apparently CE was played competitively too, which blows my mind, because how do you play CE competitively? And I was talking to someone who played it at the time a bit, and he's like, yeah, so what we do is we'd play split screen. We play 4-player or 3-player split screen versus another 3-player split screen competitively. I was like, what? No, man.
Well, I do remember they had the contest, or like a what was it? What was it? It wasn't. I think it was before G4 TV was like a thing, or maybe it was the early days of that. They did have a Halo CE contest. I remember the first ever like televised. They did the final round. It was just all, it was all the Halo CE pistol was, it basically, that was all you needed. That was everybody spawned with a power weapon in that game.
Literally, that sandbox is completely broken. I don't care who says it. Halo CE sandbox is awful because the pistol breaks it completely. All right, it's the best weapon in the game, minus 2 others: the sniper if you're really far, or the shotgun if you're really close.
Or rocket launcher.
Honestly, I feel like you could out pistol. You could use your pistol to take out a rocket launcher. Like, honestly.
Halo CE grenades are nukes, though. Those things.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, you started with everything you needed, but that gave it a different meta too, right? That's what made it competitive as well, because it was a high skill gap with that thing, right? If you were good with that pistol.
One thing I was hearing about the Bandit, and something people like about it, is that it's not a 3-round burst, right? So it doesn't need to deal with, like, it's not as netcode dependent exactly as the BR is. So, like, it's easier to dodge, easier to hit in a way. Like, you're not.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest points when the game first came out with Infinite. Is in H5 you'd get blanks too. Like, this isn't the first thing with Infinite, right? Like, older games had it too. But in Halo 5, like, it was distinct. You could tell when your shot blanked because their shield didn't move at all, because your bullet didn't hit them. But in Halo Infinite, like, there's a chance that one bullet in your burst didn't hit them, and it's so hard to tell. It's so hard to read their shields. So it's hard to read, like, it's hard to gauge what's going on in the fight. And then that just makes it a lot more difficult, in my opinion.
I agree with you. Yeah, because you really can't tell. You feel like, oh, this person should be one shot, right? You feel like you hit 4 shots and with the BR, and you can't tell what's been landing. So yeah, I agree with that. In Halo 5, it was really obvious with the Magnum. And the other thing is, you knew when shots were blanking. All right. Well, I mean, that's interesting. Like I said, I looked at it. It looks like a lot of fun to use. That's why I'm hoping that it is. And do you think the pros would sign off on, if that was your starting weapon, and the BR is still better because of the range or whatever, like just sign off on having BR spawns on the map still, like the scaled power weapon, the scaled order of things, right?
That'd be kind of cool, right? So let's say instead of the stalker or instead of the
heat wave or
instead
something.
of the stalker or heat wave or something like that, you have
Yeah.
a BR that can four-shot you.
Yeah, it looked like it still kills pretty quickly. I can't remember what that said the time was on it, because somebody did there were videos people were testing it out in terms of time to kill. So
if it's not that big of a difference, then you'd have to adjust it. Either you'd have to make it the same level as the as the bandit, or just make it like much stronger, maybe even stalker
4-shot?
level,
Stalker level.
if you want it to be a power weapon.
Oh yeah.
I gotcha. All right, cool. All right, so you had a chance. Let's. So I'm going to jump over to you a little bit, because you had a chance to jump on some of these maps, and I know it's really hard in a couple hours to say this map flows well or it's going to be good. It usually takes some time and people exploiting things, right? That's one of the reasons why 343 throws maps in to rank playlists and then they come out, because people figure out the exploits and stuff after hundreds of hours of playing. But your initial feelings, kind of like, what was your thoughts on the way they looked, the way you kind of moved around in them?
I did make a quick video about this too for anyone watching who wants more of like distilled thoughts. But right away, so Chasm, right? Chasm was kind of this map that came out of nowhere for anyone not following the leaks. It wasn't announced 6 months ago. It was just leaked and saying it was coming, to the point where I was thinking, maybe they won't even release it. I mean, it's just a leak, not officially announced, blah, blah, blah. But it is coming with it. I looked at it. It looks cool, but it also doesn't look like balanced at all. It looked like it'd just be pure chaos. Not that bad. I mean, just, not competitive at all. But I was kind of pleasantly surprised. I mean, if you're watching some of the footage earlier, they had like a community stream playing CTF on it. And I only played Slayer on it, normal Slayer, but like it actually plays pretty well. It's reminiscent, and they mentioned it themselves too earlier today in why am I showing Cliffhanger? Give me a sec. Chasm. They mentioned it earlier today, where they have they're inspired a little bit by boarding action, which is one of the worst maps I've ever played on in my life. If anyone's ever played it in Halo CE, maybe that's what I should say. I don't know. All I know is I'd play with 8 people and get spawn camped, sniper camped forever. But 2 long hallways on either end, right? Snipers on either end, a little stuff on the middle, tons of places to fall off, a grapple, a repulsor, a power item pickup at the very top, super obvious. The only issue I had with it was a little confusing. Like, to get forward, you had to move backwards a little bit and things like that. But I played like 5 matches a row on it, and I did not get tired of it. Like, I wanted to keep playing it again and again and again, which I think we're happy is that Unistrike did say that, when Winter Update released and they had like a playlist just for Argyle and Detachment, they're gonna have something like that for these maps too.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. I'm hoping that place will be Bandit starts. That'd be really cool.
That'd be cool.
Like, hey, here's all the new crap. Have fun, right? In terms of Cliffhanger, so Cliffhanger reminded me of an old Halo 3 map. I forgot the name of, but I looked up later, called High Ground. You remember that one? It was kind of like in a little open area, rocks everywhere, blah blah blah. Cliffhanger is a little similar, except you can fall off to your death if you go the wrong way. It's a lot more open, clearly not competitive at all, in the sense where it's like, I'm sure you can abuse a lot of things. There's sight lines, blah blah blah. There's a hammer sitting in the corner somewhere. You know what I mean? But this map is a little deceiving, I want to say, where like when you look at it and you're thinking, it's gonna be okay. No, it's really damn fun. Like, it reminded me, like, Escalation Slayer is, I think, it's like made for this map, is I want to say, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I don't know how much Reach you played. Do you remember High Power in Reach?
I actually didn't play Reach. I was taking a break from gaming. No, not
Reach is like my main LAN game.
No, as much Halo as I played over my life, I took about a 3 to 4 year break from gaming, and that was the time Reach was in its heyday. So yeah, I missed Reach.
Okay. Well, High Power is, I guess, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a remake of another previous.
It's just a remake of High Ground, isn't it?
No, High Power. I'm thinking of the one with the giant ring in the center with the water and the buildings aside. The one that like you basically needed a jetpack to do anything. The
giant ring in the center. That's a remake of Halo 2. That that Halo 2 map that has rockets in the waterfall by the waterfall.
Oh, you're right. It's inside like a. it's got like walls, like wooden walls.
And then there's 3 layers of elevators, like to get to the sniper. There's like to take
Oh
the
my god,
elevator
I
up
hated
and
that map.
another up, and you take it one more time up,
Palace or
and there's a
something. I
sniper.
don't.
Let me just search it up. How to
High
rocket.
power rocket. Anyways, this map kind of feels like it feels like what Behemoth kind of tries to do, which is being an opener map, you know, bigger
Okay.
for 4v4, that kind of thing, but not as like broken because of sight.
Ivory Tower.
Ivory Tower. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. But yeah, no, man, I didn't get to play Oasis, which I really wanted to. We tried getting a big team battle map working, and then for some reason we didn't have to. For some reason it didn't happen. One thing that was kind of funny is I was party lead for a little bit, and I'm trying to get used to like the mode controls, and I don't know, for some reason I'm not used to it. Unicheck shows up, and he's like, "Oh, need help?" Yeah, sure. He sets it up, and he sets a bizarre CTF. I was like, "Come on!" Like I didn't say anything, but I was like, "Really? This is what you said?" I did me with the Bandit, and it made it feel good. I think the most I can say, or the best I can say about me playing season 3, is I had to be kicked off. Like I didn't just get up and leave. Both times I played season 3, I had to be kicked off. Like, hey, other people are playing, or hey, we're shutting the station down. You gotta go. So it could be LAN. And I'll tell you right now, Abe, if you can, man, go to one of these events. Like if one's in Chicago or Toronto or something nearby, like try and go because it's different, dude. It feels amazing.
Yeah. Literally, like when I first got knocked out in Raleigh for LAN, I was so upset because all I wanted to do was just play more LAN Halo. That's all I wanted to do was just play more Halo because LAN is just a different game. It's actually incredible how different it feels. It's amazing.
I'm sitting there or not Raleigh, but in Orlando, I'm sitting there watching like the big games, and these guys are in the back just playing Halo. I'm like, dude, are you guys serious? Like these games are coming on right now. It's live. But then I played some this time. And last time I went, I didn't play anything, and I kind of regret that. I had my controller and everything, but no, it's a lot of fun.
But they I'm guessing they set it all up with regular controllers, though, right? Like I don't even know.
You
if
bring
I know
your own
how to...
controller. You bring your own controller.
Oh, okay. So you can
the
bring
season
your
3
Elite...
stations. The controller was there, but otherwise you bring your own controller, your own headset.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good to know. My settings are so whacked though too. I don't know if I would know what to do with the default settings.
No, dude. Every time these guys play, they spend like 5 minutes just setting all their settings up.
It's like 10 minutes sometimes.
More than 5 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Messing around with bots.
Every time, monitor settings and then everything else. Like there's so much.
That's awesome.
Because everyone has something that they're really particular about, or like this specific color or that specific color, or the HUD has to be this far away from my screen, or
right,
something like that. Like everyone is.
Yeah. One guy plays like the studio surface, right? Like you can drag it down and put it in front of you. One guy just plays like that. He's like this the entire time. I'm like, dude, what is this? How are you playing like this?
That's the thing too. Like if you play enough Halo over time, like you just like I feel like people have their like probably there's I'm wondering if less than a fraction of a single percent have the same exact setup that I have, right? Like because you have your style and then it's like however you want to map it, especially like the Elite, the Elite 2 controller, like mapping it so that like certain certain paddles that you use need to be quick with. You got them on your upper paddles, and then I don't know. I even pick up weapons by pushing down because like I don't ever like to push down to melee or do anything like that in my sticks.
Wait, what do you mean you pick up weapons by pushing down?
Like left stick?
Yeah.
No
way.
What?
It's stupid. But
I never even thought about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's because I just hate. I don't like pushing down and moving like very often. Like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's
so
usually
you reload with left stick as well.
Yeah.
What?
That's interesting.
Or with the sticks. Yeah. Reload and picking up. Yeah. Switching weapons.
What do you zoom with? Just right stick though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Left and for zooming in. But...
Arib, someone in the chat is asking me at SoulBlazerz. Hey, did you pick up any cool gear at HCS? I did actually pick up a bit, but the coolest thing
right now.
Arib has, I'm wearing a shirt someone actually gave me. It's a gift. It's a face shirt. It's pretty cool. They are the team that lost in the finals. And I picked up the finals, my bad. I picked up a hat. And actually, Abe, I got you a hat too. That's why I wanted to meet up yesterday.
Oh man!
Before
damn!
before we met up.
That's awesome, man. Oh, that's cool.
Cool. Because I know you always wear a hat on stream, so I figured what the heck.
I know, I don't never have a good hair day anymore. Not since the pandemic, I don't.
Yeah.
I forgot how to do my hair.
I mean, like the merch is expensive, obviously. Though I swear, I feel like these were cheaper than Orlando, which is nice because Orlando's a very expensive city. But hey, what the heck, right? You're not going often.
Well, first of all, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
no worries.
awesome. Were they who you were rooting for? FaZe?
Kind of. The issue is like in Halo, and I guess any esports team in general, is like the rosters will change a fair bit. Like one thing that happened before this is year 2 of Halo Infinite esports, right? Is if you've kept up with it even a little, it's kind of like a lot of the esports teams are a lot of the esports organizations are losing money. They relied a lot on crypto. C9 has lost a lot. So like you have like this top tier roster like C9 and Halo, they had to let them go. And another team picked them up, things like that. So it's kind of tough to follow teams per se. I think people usually follow players. One thing sure is Optic has like the most craziest, insane fans ever. Like power to them, but man, I'm sitting on the FaZe side. All right, FaZe team is right in front of me. How does like "Let's go Optic" chant start like 2 feet from me?
So for anybody who hasn't gone, like, do you get a different perspective of the Halo, the game, the meta, the just
definitely
okay?
Yeah, I mean, like, so I was staying with the Reeb, right? His org let me stay with the hotel, and there were a few other people staying there too. And I'm telling you, man, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, all 3 nights, people were up till 2-3 a.m. just talking Halo. Like that's it. A little bit of Star Wars talk, but just talking Halo, talking about Halo 5 and this pro team and this intricate thing and 343 doing this. And okay, you know me, right? I'm not like when I see people bashing 343 or Halo Online, I'm kind of like annoyed. But there's a different element to it when it's people that are actually playing the game.
Right.
They're putting it seriously, putting the hours in. So when they complain, I take it a lot more seriously. I'm like, yeah, you know what? This doesn't make any sense. Like one of the big things of this tournament was that the pool play, which is like these main pro teams, they're playing at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, but there's nothing being streamed till 3 p.m. And these matches are on the main screen. Yeah, there's no announcers, but people are sitting watching them. And people's favorite teams might be getting knocked out without them even knowing they got knocked out. Like it was really messed up. Tashi, head of esports, did like clarify a bit. It was budget, manpower. Their team was already kind of working overtime, things like that. So I get it, but also at the same time, like that just really sucks. Like imagine climbing out of open bracket, which is a jungle, by the way. Like let me paint a picture. It's Friday night. You have 60, 70 teams. They're playing 2 series. So winners, losers. You win a best of 3, you keep moving. You lose a best of 3, you go down to elimination. You lose that, you're out. Right? Tensions are crazy. People are screaming at each other. This one guy like gets up and after he gets to kill, he's like, sit down. That guy's like, I'm already sitting. Like those are real responses happening. Tensions are crazy high. You climb out of that. You make it to main stage where you're expected to be on stream, getting more, like exposure, blah, blah, blah. And you're knocked out because obviously you can't compete with the main stage teams or they're, higher, better teams, blah, blah, blah. You're knocked out and not a single person online saw your games. Like it's just not a good thing.
Right. I know. I get what you're saying. So, that is interesting. So you get this like different perspective going there. And I'm curious, I'm going to turn this over to Reeb a little bit too. Like thoughts coming from that side, like what from these people that are really invested in Halo, right? They're not just out on YouTube trying to find out what's going to get the clicks today, right? They're not on just Reddit, just doing what they always do and be toxic. Like usually when they have complaints, it's legitimate. It's coming from people that really still are really engaged with the game, right? That really like the gameplay loop, that really want it to be its best. What are some of the things you hear today? First of all, I guess, what are some of the biggest opportunities from the guys you talk to on that side? And then I guess 2-part question. Second part would be how do people feel about the direction, like upcoming season 3? Like, what is there like a general? Is it still we know it's been very pessimistic, right? Like even us on this show. I mean, at least me. I'll talk about myself. I won't throw Soul in there.
I remember the one episode where all of us were like, it's almost over. Like it's done. That was rough.
I mean, it's felt like it was hanging on by a thread at times, right? And but I'm curious, like what are these guys saying, or guys and girls, I should say, or what are they saying? And
guys is gender neutral.
Oh, yeah, and what's the what's the general feeling kind of for the future of it?
The general feeling for the future is that most people are saying that the game won't pop off popularity-wise unless there really is a battle royale. But people are very hopeful for Forge, that's for sure. Like we're
Mm.
hopeful that we can get some like really good competitive maps in the game, and the dev maps after season 3 comes out, we can fix what we feel is a little bit cheesy, or like maybe that corner shouldn't be there or something like that. And then eventually we like 343, we do know that they do listen. It takes some time, but we've learned that they do listen. And so maybe eventually like that's why I feel like most people are hopeful, but I might be hopeful just saying that. Just saying that most people are hopeful. Like that just might be me.
No, that is really interesting. It's interesting too here in the battle royale part, right? Because that sounds like
Yeah.
that's totally made for casual
Yeah.
stuff. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like even if you're on the side of the competitive or the casual, like they both feed off of each
They
other,
do.
right?
Yeah.
You know, and making Halo a better just sandbox for casual players that come in that aren't competitive, that just want to do something fun with their buddies. Is going to be good for everybody, you know, in the game, right? So battle royale it is.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's like a
maybe.
pretty clear connection, right? Like, it doesn't matter how good you are in the game. If no one's watching you guys play, there's no professional scene, right? So like, the game needs more people. Period. Just playing the game.
Yeah. So the forge stuff is that's also something that's interesting, because unlike the developer made maps, a forge map can change the block out, right? Or they can change the way the maps are structured quicker, right? They're a little bit more agile, making adjustments to what the feedback is and stuff. So are you guys thinking that there's a lot of maybe more potential there than there even is with developer made maps?
Yeah, like a quick example is like Argyle was made on Forge, right? And they really quickly, people are complaining about the fusion coils, and people are complaining that there's 4 commando spawns in the map and also 2 shotgun spawns in the map. They really quickly got rid of both shotgun spawns, replaced them with pistols. They got rid of the fusion coils, and they got rid of 2 commando spawns, like really pretty fast.
It was in a week, I think. It was pretty quick.
It was a week, yeah. After a week, they got rid of that. Even on Pit, they got rid of the fusion coils, and they got rid of the both plasma pistol spawns. They have 1 plasma pistol spawn now, and I think that was it. But that was still pretty good change.
Or as the cool kids say, they call it green gun. I had to learn that lingo. And I heard red gun. I'm like, what the hell is red gun? You know, it's in this, so Tashi, right? For a while, I remember I saw a couple interviews of his, and before he was kind of like head of esports, but he had to work with like an engagement team or something at 343, where he'd bring up this pros concerns. They'd be like, okay, we'll take into consideration and we'll do it or we won't do it. Apparently, he's been either promoted or put in a position where he's more direct line, like, hey, we want this, we're doing this, it's done, you know. So it's like that's a good thing, obviously, for the longevity of the scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, there's for a while we've been talking all about the developer made maps, and obviously you can tell, you know, there's some things that they can do with developer made maps that maybe aren't in Forge, but you know, we've been really like on this show here, we've been pretty bullish on Forge, and you know, I don't know what it means in terms of bringing people back to the game. You know, maybe the game is what it is right now, audience wise, until like the BR, like you're saying, like maybe that's the key. But at least, you know, at least from a enjoyment standpoint and from a quality of, you know, just quality game for the guys and girls that do stick with the game, like in both casual and in the competitive, it feels like the Forge, because you can get the looks up to snuff to basically, you know, be good enough, right? Like some of the maps that are being made in Forge look like developer made maps.
They look really good.
Especially John's.
Curfew looks amazing.
Curfew, Perilous. He got a new one. He just revealed it. Boiling Deck, I think they were playing it a little bit. I'm won't be surprised if he's like working with 343 on that too.
After season 3, we'll be able to forge developer maps.
This
so
Tuesday.
that's
I mean, that's another
really interesting. Yeah, really.
You know, speaking of Forge, we just got a major milestone revealed today, right? With Forge, you see that, Abe?
Yeah, what is it, a million or something like that?
Yeah, a million forged creations and 8.5 million custom games played since the custom browsers. I mean, it's just the fluff numbers, but still, it means that Forge itself is at least really thriving.
And that's like that stuff, right now it's still in beta. Custom, we talked about this. Like custom games still don't really work great. It's not, if you're trying to get into the browser, it's not like the smoothest, most streamlined experience.
It's better than it was at launch. They fixed it a little bit.
I haven't.
You don't get like those crazy like connecting issues anymore.
Okay, that's good.
Which is
I've been
good.
getting that on the Series X, which is weird.
You still been getting that
on the Series X? Not on PC though. On the Series X, we've had to like restart a lot, and it's odd.
Yeah. There's some instant resume issues, I think. There.
Oh yeah.
It's probably that.
Yeah. Halo's game I have to quit every single time. If I could like you can pin games for quick resume. Now I want the opposite. I want like games where I'd be like, don't quick resume this.
Yeah. you just disable quick resume or no?
Well, it's really useful on the console. So
okay.
I'd rather not disable the whole feature.
It's good in single player stuff, not good in multiplayer.
I see. So like Ori or something like that.
Man, I'm telling you, I play Monster Hunter Rise like a lot these last few weeks, and dude, it works so buttery smooth. Not in Hunt, obviously, but like you're in the village, and that's a tangent. Where it's a Halo.
Yeah, we're chasing squirrels, but yeah, quick resume works well. And if you are a Halo player, and you're just know when you come back, you load it up. Close it out, quit out.
Yes,
so
every single time you load it, you see the quick resume, like God dang it, home, quit, open again.
Yeah, you got it. Otherwise, it's going to give you.
Abe, speaking of people coming back, what's interesting? Someone posted something on our Halo, if you can believe it. The sub that's actually been kind of positive the last few days is the views on the season 3's trailer. Yeah, have already overtaken the views on season 2's trailer, like in like 4 days, compared to however long season 2's trailer's been out. Like. I might be a little bullish, but I do think season 3 will bring back a good chunk of people, at least for like a couple weeks, maybe a month or so. You know what I mean? I was pretty accurate my season 2 guess. For season 3, I'm gonna say right now the game's at 25. I'm gonna say it's gonna go to 14. Stay there for a couple weeks, drop back down to like 19, 18 or so. Nothing. It's not like there yet, but these are really good steps.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like. At the end of the day, no matter how much we all complain or get negative, sometimes there's still nothing else that plays like Halo.
Nothing else.
Just like we said earlier on, it's like nothing else that plays like. There's not like a hit. I wish there was a Halo killer, right?
Yeah, honestly, right? I mean, a game at that level, that'd be amazing.
I wish there was. Like, Halo's not good. I'm just going to jump over to this. It's like, nope. This is it. These are the maps I got. And people. Legitimately, I think there was a lot of people that legitimately really want it to be good. They really want it. Even some of the most negative people really want it to come back. And it's just like I talk about me being a Lions fan all the time. I have to keep using that analogy. Detroit Lions for you, American football people. They won one playoff game my entire life. I am 47. They won one playoff game. That was in '91. And I just hating on them. I am. You think about your most toxic person on Reddit or a YouTuber. I am like that as a Lions fan. I'm like, let's just burn it down, sell the team. But you know what? You get the glimpse, man. You get the glimpse, and it's like, wait, they've won 3 games in a row. Like, maybe, maybe this is like, maybe the world will end right after they, win the Super Bowl, but.
Abe, remember we talked before about 3 for 3's kind of learning to under promise, over deliver, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of smoke out there that season 3 is, or rather season 4 is coming a week earlier now. The original date was the 27th. Now people are saying the 20th, which is like a week and a bit before the next major, which makes sense. But hey, I mean, it's we'll see how it goes.
Even the maps, right? Like they promised, we expected 2, and with the
Plaza remake.
Plaza remake, you're looking at 4. That Plaza remake looks good too. Like I don't like honestly,
It's already viewable.
Didn't you see? Didn't they show it or no? Was I looking at the wrong one?
They haven't officially shown the Plaza remake. I don't think.
Okay. Well, I thought there was leaks.
There might be. I'll need to look for. I mean, I'm sure there's a Plaza remake in like 4, probably like multiple ones, to be honest.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And now you got me thinking. It's like maybe they were just showing, running through a Forge remake. Because I played some of the Forge. I played at least one of the Forge remakes of it. That was good. Yeah. A lot of the Forge remakes of these old maps are really
Haven,
good.
That Forge remake. Oh, so good.
I want that in the playlist,
honestly, right? I mean,
Yeah.
one thing I hope they do is just really that community playlist. Get forge maps into other playlists, not just community, especially big team battle,
Yeah.
right? And B, like just by rotating the community playlist more often. It doesn't need to be perfect. You know, if there's some glitches on it, Argyle launch with some major glitches. You know, that's your map. So
right. I mean, yeah, just start. That's the potential. If they can get quick at rotating things in and out, get the feedback from the community, rotate stuff back in there. That's going to be. Again, I don't know if it's going to bring everybody back, but it won't
bring everybody. But the main thing is people will come back to check a new season because for some reason people do that. A new season comes, you get new trailers for whatever reason. People are like, oh, okay, I guess I'll install Infinite, see how it is, right? Let's give it a shot. Their job is to keep people there, right? Be like, hey, this battle pass is pretty good. Hey, these maps. Hey, you got a bunch of playlist variety. Hey, this. And even networking wise, remember Ari was telling me when the winter update dropped, he's like, yo, man, I think they fixed the networking or something. It's like we're getting so much better. And dude, all it is just more people playing the game. That's it, right? Less latency, less issues. Even if your ping says 15, if you're playing with someone who has 200, it's not going to make a difference.
Well, and that's the thing they don't like. That's the thing I finally figured out because it's like, why is it when I'm on like my 20 ping, it's like worse than when I'm on 70 ping, and it's because it's like that net code compensation. And if you're playing somebody who's in, who's in Mexico and they're on 200 ping, then it's that compensation. No, it's not going to feel good. It won't matter if you have the better ping or not. So it's not like when you were the host with the
I want to check their exact wording, but I think they even mentioned that the community playlist is their most popular playlist or something like that, which is kind of interesting to me.
There is really good maps in the community playlist, by the way. They need to bring in. So
Perilous it's good. It's pure flipping chaos. Like I cannot take that map seriously. But my favorite map is one I never get to play, man. Absolution, I think it's called.
Is it the one? It's almost like a midship remake. Is that the one?
No. That's a Starboard. Absolution is like this, temple looking one and like a jungle.
Oh yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah, so we featured 4 amazing community first playlists, which has been the most popular Halo Infinite playlist since the game's launch. That's a bold claim, dude.
Wow. All right, let's before we kind of get into just some final questions and stuff. Let's just take a temperature from everybody here about season 3. So obviously we don't expect this to be like a return to form or anything, but excitement level, expectations, because what I'd like to do is come back and kind of see if where our expectations are today, if they're if we're feeling the same a few weeks after that thing launches. Because if you remember, so you and me were actually saying, oh, but season 2 is going to be better than we thought, based on how it's being hyped up. And then after 2 weeks, we're like, it's okay.
What's weird, exactly. Like they came out and we're like, hey, this is faster loading screens. This feels like a little bit more. Then you're right. A week into it, it's like, okay, I've kind of already done everything.
Yeah, it was like. So what are we thinking right now? What let's go around and kind of. I'll start with you. So what's your feelings with season 3? How excited are you? What are you expecting? Like if we were going to rate season, if we were going to predict how you're going to rate season 2 right now, where do you predict
3.
that would? Or season 3, I mean, yeah. Where do you predict?
So right away, my issues with season 2 were a lot of them were the challenge system. That was a season where I really started to hate that damn thing, right? Because I love Last Left Standing, but guess what? I can't play it because the whole week I'm working on other modes and challenges, even though I want to play this one thing. So I'm not gonna have to worry about that because these challenges, man, dude, you can finish them in an hour and a half, man. Like I'm telling you, it's a joke. Too easy, I would say even. There's Forge now, which will alleviate any boredom or whatnot, more people playing, crazy things to do. It's not going to be the perfect season. It doesn't have infection. It doesn't have a progression system, no career rank system.
Right.
And it doesn't have like all the quality of life changes we want, like full cross core. Ideally, like some really real solid networking fixes, which I'm hoping are still coming. But I mean, I think it'll be like a solid 8, man. I think it'll be a great step.
Okay. How about you, Reeb? Where are you at on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's still everything's probably going to play the same, really. I don't see there being too much new content. It's not, but I'm still pretty optimistic. I'm just like hopeful that it'll still be like a good season.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the battle pass yet, but I'm sure it looks
it's good. I mean, when I looked at it, it's like season 2. I thought had a pretty decent battle pass.
Yeah.
This is like a little better than that.
Wait, how many tiers are there?
Still 100 tiers.
So 100 tiers for 3 months, yeah.
Yeah. 15 weeks, I believe.
That's actually pretty good. Like content wise, like I'd probably fly through that, but like most people, they'll.
How quickly did you fly through the winter update when they added the Magi XP?
Yeah, that was crazy. It was like a week or something like that. It was like a week and a half.
It's pretty easy to fly through that stuff now.
Yeah,
They got rid of the crazy challenges.
Especially when you
God.
use a double XP token. Like everyone has a flip ton of those, so you can just
Yeah.
use one of those. You get a lot. But I feel like I'm pretty excited for it. The main thing for me is that you can forge dev maps. It's actually really cool for me.
Yeah.
And then the new weapon. So even though it might not be too much new content, the new content that they're adding seems like it'll be really good. The smoke screen is really
Oh,
cool.
the Shroud. We didn't even
I wanna
talk about
see-
that.
Yeah, we didn't talk
What
about
they did
that.
with that.
What
Yeah.
okay, let's step back on that real quick because I don't know how we missed the Shroud. Like there's
Yeah.
Shroud, there's
I'm
some
gonna-
extra game modes that I think they're gonna be
Here, I'm gonna play where they use both the Shroud and the game mode that we didn't talk about yet,
Mhm.
all right, do that.
which is Escalation Slayer, right? Did you watch the community match at all, Abe?
No,
Or
I
your
did not
Escalation
watch
Slayer?
that. Nope.
So it's gun game, right? I'm sure you played it, but it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. So it's team, which is I think them right away learning their lesson, right? What was the biggest issue with season 2's main game mode? Last Spartan Standing. You can only queue as a
Play
single
by
person.
yourself.
That's it, right? Like, okay, guys, let's play some Halo. Sure, we all want to play 4 separate games.
Like we'll get into the party chat and talk to each other while we're all playing by
Well,
ourselves.
Escalation Slayer, there is the FFA equivalent, which is obviously great, but there's also like a team equivalent, of which the rules are a little confusing. I'll be honest. I played it and I still didn't know exactly how it worked.
Well, you can sprint with the ball.
Yeah, I guess you can in this because your
Oh,
last.
that's
So
cool.
in this one, if you watch the screen, your last combination to win is an oddball and the Shroud. So you got to chain.
Mm.
You got to chain the shrouds up to get
Oh,
close
that's
enough to
cool.
people to take them out. There it is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what's your impressions of the Shroud? Like from what you saw it in action? I at first I didn't get it. Like when they first were like, okay, you can't see in or out of it. It's like, but then it was explained like a smoke grenade, right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, I guess I'm going to start with a Reba on this one.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
from the competitive standpoint, like, do you see this really changing anything?
So
or being
like
important?
for me at least, I think it'll change a lot. I think it'll change the game a little bit because it's basically like a smoke screen, right? Like from Valorant or from CS:GO. But a lot of other players I talked to, they're like a little pessimistic towards it. Like they weren't too optimistic about it because they didn't understand it really. Like there's so much you can do with the smoke screen. Like there's a lot with line of sights and whatnot. This game is already such a team-based game, so
Right.
adding something else that'll its main goal is not even to help you like individually. It's more like a team thing. It's not like the
Mhm.
repulsor. It's not like the thruster or the shield. I guess the shield you could use for a team, but you don't usually. But this one is like purely team. It's one of the so I'm pretty optimistic. Personally, I'm pretty optimistic to see how it'll play.
Yeah, because like you basically could, if somebody has really good aim firing the Shroud, you could block off somebody's snipe point, right? Like their line of
Yeah.
sight, and go get the flag, go sneak around the guy,
Yeah,
that
or
kind of
get
thing.
OS or something like that. You
Or
could
even
use
take
it.
them out, right? Like you
Yeah.
could throw it there and they,
Counter someone grapple OSing or grapple flagging, stuff like that, right?
I mean, they'll see. Yeah,
I
I
don't
guess
think
you
their
can
cursor
you can
would change.
counter grapple, but like if the OS is like marked on their screen, like on their HUD, then they'll probably
That's
not
true.
miss, right?
That's true.
Or
Yeah.
if like the flag is on their screen, marked on their screen. So maybe if it'll hide OBJ in it, that's kind of if it'll hide objectives items in it, that'd be
Well,
really
these
cool.
guys got acronyms for everything, man. For the longest time, they're like, "Yeah, man, the AM scene." I'm like, "What the hell's the amateur? Really? Come on."
But one really cool aspect of the smoke is like one-way smokes, right? Like you don't
Mm.
see that in games like Halo. Like you don't see that in COD or
What do you mean by one-way smoke?
like so one-way smoke is like you put a smoke in a way that if the enemy goes in the smoke, they can't see you, but you can see them because you can see their feet peeking out at the bottom of the smoke. So you stick the smoke in the ceiling in like B garage. I think that's the example that 343 showed.
Yeah.
And then a guy walks from A garage into the B garage towards the B side on live fire, and then you can only see his feet, and he can't see you at all because he's inside the smoke. So that's like a one-way smoke in a way. So it's really
oh, that's
interesting.
it. I think it, like the more I've heard about it, the more I'm like, yeah, if you're playing, especially if you're playing something competitive, it could have a lot of strategic things Because you could even like, one time you put the smoke screen, you cover the snipe point, you go circle the guy, right? Next time they're expecting you to circle them and you're just using it as a decoy, right? Like
Yeah,
now
you could just be inside of it too.
right. You could do all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I think that could be really, really interesting, even more than like the drop shield. I mean, which I just think is kind of boring.
Yeah,
So-
Drop shield is like bad. I never used it properly. Then I see people like deflecting grenades and rocket launchers with it, and I'm like, okay, all right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just need to know how to use the stuff. All right, so Shroud,
Okay, I
and,
see.
and then you had a chance. So you watched them play that game, the game mode. Do you think like any of these game modes are going to stick? Because so far I don't feel like they've tried a lot of different game modes. Nothing new has really stuck so far, I would say. Like obviously the lone wolf
Last Spartan standing.
Last Spartan standing. I already forgot the name of it.
And I said it like 5 times already.
I enjoyed it for a moment. And then they did the what I don't even remember the other mode where you have the your in
Land grab.
No, not land grab. I don't care about either. Like a few of these modes, like
Yeah.
everything they've tried, it's been okay. Nothing's been like super high. So this one looks like it's a little bit more fun though, just because of the
social nature of it, right? I mean, Fiesta is still one of the most popular game types out there, right? A mode like this, I see kind of lasting. I don't see Escalation Slayer going away after the season ends, assuming it plays well and it's done. Yeah,
because
I don't.
What do you think, Arib?
I kind of disagree. I feel like you're not really playing for something when you're playing Escalation Slayer.
You're trying to win,
and then that's it, and then you don't get anything from it.
What do you mean?
Like at least like rank, you're building up your rank, right? Like it's.
No. See, I'm saying purely from a social side. Like they 343 released like their playlist rankings. Number 1 was I think ranked or quick player Slayer, something like that, and like Fiesta was like right there number 2.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was like, hey, there's like half the people in this game play competitively, half the people in this game play social.
Yeah.
And I feel like even all the game modes they released, like land grab, hell, man, even flipping the one in the winter update, I forgot what it was called. The stupid invisible and sword one.
Oh yeah,
that got real competitive, dude. That got really competitive.
I didn't really like that at all.
I didn't like it either.
I played with two other people, and it was actually really fun. Like when you can say, "Hey, they're over there. Make this choke point." Blah blah blah. Okay. That got way too competitive though, and so it's like I feel like there's already a mix of a lot of competitive maps. The competitive, even heck, quick play or Team Slayer is kind of a competitive game mode, right? You're not going to not try to win. But something like friggin' Escalation Slayer, someone's running at you with an oddball and a shroud, like you cannot take that seriously, right? Like,
right. Well, and it's something that you can just kind of turn your brain, like you can just. I think the reason why Fiesta is still popular for a lot of people, you can just go in there and just turn your brain off, try a bunch of weapons, you're just trying to kill them, right? And I think that's why Slayer is so popular. People just, sometimes they just want to aim for the head, just give a weapon and practice their.
I mean,
their
I think they do that in the objective game modes anyway, but yeah, this time they're not yelled for it, right?
Right. So. You mentioned something interesting too, Reeb. Like the Halo 5 ranked everything, right? Like it felt like everything had a ranking playlist, and this doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like not having a ranked SWAT is insane to me because there's a whole SWAT community from Halo 5 that I was like a huge part of, and not having ranked in SWAT that's insane.
Is that something that gets talked about on the competitive side? And I feel like it made everything a little bit more interesting.
Sweaty? Oh, more interesting.
No, yeah, like even if I wasn't playing it super sweaty, just to kind of see if you're getting better or the competition you're playing against. If you're playing SWAT and you want to know, kind of how good the people were that you're playing against, right? Just playing Slayer, I don't see why you can't have a Slayer ranked playlist and things like that. I don't know. It's kind of interesting that they've really made it the limited amount of playlists they're going to rank.
They say for player health, playlist healthiness, right? But I'm thinking like, how the hell did Halo 5 have these people playing all these random playlists, ranked whatnot, like 3-4 years into the game's life,
right?
And still,
honestly, they didn't really.
What do you mean?
It was you weren't like. I was not getting games at some point, like at 10, 11 p.m. Yeah.
Okay.
At least for 2s, I wasn't getting games, and like ranked FFA, it's like, okay, I have to play at 6 p.m. now or something like that.
I see what you mean. Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I think I understand why they made the decision.
Dude, I was watching someone, a pro player, well, amateur, whatever, someone pretty high up, play Halo Infinite over there. Because I swear, these guys, you know what they do, man? They go to the event, they compete all day playing Halo, they go home, they play more Halo. Like, it's just. But he's playing Halo at like 4 a.m., queuing at like 1600 Onyx. I'm like, there's no way you're gonna find matches, dude. You're not gonna. He found matches in like 20 seconds, 25 seconds. I'm like,
1800 Onyx, I think actually.
like, what is going on? Like, I honestly think Halo Infinite might have more people at like the very end of its spectrum than people. In,
That's
like, Silver and Gold.
how a lot of competitive games are actually. Like Valorant, it's if you're Radiant in Valorant at the highest level,
Mm.
then you'll get games really fast actually, because a lot of those high level players are just continuously playing. They're continuously grinding. And then if you play in Immortal, then I've heard like people have to wait like 10-15 minutes to get a game sometimes.
That's like
So-
what, like Diamond or something?
That's Immortal is Onyx, you could say.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
did you see that they want to add a Masters rank or something like that, like top 300?
I didn't
but they,
see that.
but they're like they said they're looking into it, but they're not planning on adding a rank in between Onyx and that. Not for now,
Okay.
anyways.
Well, they definitely need something segregating like the top from the top, like from the high, even like 1500s and 1600s ish. Like that's considered extremely low for like the top players, because
Mm.
like I think like Frosty's like 2.2k or something like that right now in Onyx. So
Mm.
there you need something to differentiate you from the others, I feel like.
All right, cool. I know it's some good. That's some good insight into why they do the things. Yeah, I guess I don't consider you sweaties. Not that I don't
Yeah,
sweat
right?
too. Like I still like to see the rank, but I get it. I get why they don't do it in as many now. Yeah, and I didn't really give my thoughts.
Mhm.
I'll be honest. Like for me, I was really excited about the Bandit. So I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like my perception of this season is going to be on two things. It's going to be how does the Bandit fit into the weapon sandbox? Like if it is something that they can change the meta on, like I can use a lot for whatever reason. Because like I said, it looks like a lot of fun. I miss having either a DMR or a Magnum style like mid-range weapon in the game. I like the, I've always been a BR fan for the longest time, but I do think that it's a little bit too easy to for everybody to kind of hit their shots or in once you get to a certain level. So I'm hoping that really does change or gives it an opportunity to change some of the meta to the game. So that's going to depend on, that's going to have a big influence. And the other aspect is going to be how well can they, I'm watching some of these videos.
Yeah, right? I was like, what the heck was that?
The other thing I'm kind of curious about, and what's going to really kind of make or break whether it's just an okay season or a really good season, is how well they can start to implement some of these Forge stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we've been talking about the potential of it since, probably
before the game released, I think, man. We were talking about Forge, and it's gotta hit strong and blah blah blah.
And it's really they need to start getting that stuff in there. I want to see if they start iterating. And like Reeb was saying, like for him, there's not a lot of content here if you're playing a lot of ranked, right? Because what is it? One map's going to go into ranked.
That's it. Yeah. The whole season.
So one map. So they really are going to. I think there could be more than one map. It could be one of those things where if they can move some of the Forge stuff in there. So how they start to incorporate what the community is doing in Forge is going to have a lot, and that's just a wild card. We just don't know. We haven't heard too much about that yet. They haven't given us hints on that. If they can start incorporating that stuff, they can start to move in. Let's say they find another. Let's find they can add one more ranked map that's built in Forge. I think that'll add a lot. And I also hear what you're saying too, though. Like the sweaties don't want you to throw 5 new maps at once either.
But man, you know what though? I swear sometimes, and I feel like Reed might disagree with me here, but sometimes that's like you just gotta do what you have to do, right? To shake up the game. Like the meta needs to change. Right now, Infinite is dominated by the same like 3-4 teams, and it's been that way for a while. Like last year almost in a way, right? When you're watching, or I watch a lot of Dota, and they'll release a patch which sounds completely stupid and broken, and they just some dumb things thrown in there. But that patch releases, and suddenly this top team couldn't adapt to the patch fast enough, and now these bottom teams are like, we're there, right? Like we know everything, we can do it. We're competing now at a higher level, and I feel like Infinite could do something that's similar with new maps, right? More often, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, and why not? Like I look at like the NBA or even NHL. Like you look at all these sports over time, they change the metas, right?
Yeah.
And people don't.
Somehow without actually changing anything about the game.
I mean, they changed the rules, which changed the whole.
That's true. Yeah.
You like the NBA is now like a 3-point shooting contest.
Purely
and,
3-point. Oh my god.
and as the old man yelling at the clouds, I hate it. I yell at it. Like
Yep.
I'm like the old man, the guys who like yell at Halo because it's still got sprint in it, right? But with the NBA, but the Stephen Curry's opened up the league for all these people, right? And they're not going to change that because of that. And so, in the NFL, like you can't touch receivers anymore, but people like that stuff. So, I do think there's a risk that you can alienate people, but you can bring in new people too, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think experimenting with that meta is something I'd like to see. And the Bandit's a good place to start. So we'll see.
Mess with the sandbox, get rid of their main weapon, the BR, and see how it goes, right? See what happens.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it's like an 8. I'd be happy with an 8. I think season 4 has a lot more potential if like all the infection /flood / all that stuff comes to fruition.
What's funny is another reason to not really judge a leaks at surface level is leaks for infection started coming up like, oh, is infection going to be in season 3? Is it launching in a month? And we're like, yeah, damn, I guess it is. Nope, it was always season 4 from like a year ago, probably more. This is clearly teasing towards it with like the cinematics and stuff, but no, not this season.
I just keep my expectations low, bro. It makes it easy. Makes it easy.
Yeah, I want to keep them. I like to have some hope in life,
Yeah, I still have hope, but be ready for like it just not to work out for me. Like,
hey, really
I'm
quick, have
hopeful,
you
bro.
seen the new HCS skins? They're kind of going a little more out of there, huh? They still look cool, and they're the SLI core, but
I guess show them off if you have them here.
Yeah,
They seem
I'm
catered
playing them in the
towards kids. What I was saying is they seem a little bit more catered towards kids. I like them though a lot personally.
They're growing on me a little bit. They don't feel Halo for some reason. They feel I don't know what they
should feel like sports teams, really, because that's what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like complexity looks so good.
Complexities look so cool. Oh my god, it's got the Dallas Cowboys logo all over it. I think I don't know. I don't watch football, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, I mean these are if you kind of get. I'm curious like what Mike's opinion about these are because anything that's like not old school Halo, like Bungie 1 through 3 Halo, he gets a little bit angry at. When they come out with this spiked hair and halos around their heads and bunny tails and all that shit. I can't. But these don't. I think these are a little bit more modern, maybe appealing to a younger crowd without betraying Halo completely. So they're neat. Yeah, I'll probably buy one. What the heck?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get one too.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm hoping it's around 8. But I hear what you're saying about the leaks. There's some really cool leak maps which we can't share right now.
You see Forest? Holy crap, that looks so good.
We can't
we'll
show
talk about
those
that
right now. Yeah.
I
think they're taking everything down. Anybody that's showing that they're taking it down.
They are, right? So.
Yeah. So we can't show that stuff. But there's some really, really impressive looking stuff coming up. So, and hopefully they start adding some of these assets to Forge. So that starts to branch out.
We didn't get a thing, eh? Every previous season in Battle Pass, we've had them sit down and go through the entire Battle Pass with us. We didn't get that. We didn't get any confirmation or a word from Staten saying that he's leaving. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's weird in a little bit.
Yeah, he's still tweeting. Yeah,
exactly.
Like he's still like the guy.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on, but I like the energy right now. I do. It's been I've been part of the negativity at times, but at the end of the day, the reason why we do a Halo show is because we really, really like Halo. Because I played over 2,000 hours in Halo 5.
How cool. You should be close to Halo Infinite 2000, right? I mean, you got to be.
No, I haven't hit 1,000 yet. So
what?
I've been playing.
Those numbers up. Those
I think I'm only like 750 or something. I don't know, something like that. I've been mixing in some single player stuff because I'm trying to get that stuff out of the way before season 3. Because if they do nail the Bandit and some other things, I will end up just blowing up the backlog and forgetting about everything
Seriously.
else again.
I'm like halfway through Hogwarts, halfway through Atomic Heart. Wolong's coming out tomorrow. Yeah, no, it's too much.
Yeah, and then then the problem is, man, I get all these games and I start them, and then I get back on Halo because somebody's like, "Hey, join me," and then I'm like, "Oh shit, I can't stop again." I'm like a drug addict.
Yeah, man. Hopefully season 3 hits strong. I think hopefully the best case for you would be like that Tuesday, Wednesday. Hopefully you should feel like it plays better networking wise too. More people playing, that kind of thing.
Oh, then I'm not going to get off for sure. I'll be up all night.
Yeah.
So, community, if you are going to jump back onto Halo, OneBadMutha, as long as you aren't an asshole, I don't care what your rank is. Let's just play. I don't care how good anybody is. I have a good accuracy, but I play like a dumbass. So Arib, you would probably agree. I would like, did you just start? And you know what? The worse the connection is, the more frustrated I get, the more dumbassier I play.
I swear, I played a few matches with Abe, and like half of the game he's like, "Man, I can't. I'm the connection. I can't. They're just not hitting." I'm just like, "No, just play the game."
It's almost an instinct. I got to stop. I need some intervention.
Man.
So good stuff. You real quick. So we do got season 4 leaks and stuff. We won't go into that stuff. Do we know when E3 is going to be? Do you think we're going to shadow drop something cool around E3?
June 11th is right. The estimated date for E3. I want the exact date soon. I want to know if we're going because like these tickets are getting expensive. So if I got to book it, I want to book it quick. But man, I'll tell you this right now. Their trailer department has been on fire.
They're better.
The last like 5-6 months. And I think a season 4 is fully deserving of a trailer on E3 that June 11th if it's coming like 9 days later.
Right.
Like a trailer like this would do really well, in my opinion, on that show floor.
I mean, what if they do have? What if all the flood rumors and you finally quote unquote complete the game, right? You got infection, you got your browser working, you got everything kind of finally tuned up, and you could put the flood put in there, and maybe even get a little mini infection mode. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I mean, get a little mini firefight infection type of thing.
And we still need to talk about them like canonizing infection in a way with like like a corrupted Spartan armor or stuff like that. Though I'm telling you right now, don't keep your expectations too high for the cinematic events. I still think it's just going to be a really cool blur CGI cutscene for a minute in the beginning and then a minute when you end the battle pass. I'm not expecting like a lot from that,
No. Yeah, same here. The cinematic, the bar is really, really, really low. I would say
it's always better than, "Hey Spartan, thank you. Let me like we're cosplaying red versus blue right now. Thank you. Okay, go do your thing."
It was literally a 1 out of 10 is where we're starting from. So it's only going to go up. All right, community question. Do we have anything?
Just one, which I think has already been answered, but it's by Mort saying, "Hey Mort, always good to have you always. Hello there, Spartans. After giving up on my campaign content dreams and shelving the PvE ones for later, do you think at least a fleshed out progression system is coming anytime soon? Hugs, Mort." And actually, I'll read the next reply too because it answers it by Jeans. Not on season 3. They're working on it. I saw a reply on Twitter.
Yeah, they talked about it. Are we hoping by like season 4 maybe is the progression system?
I would say just this year is probably how I'd word it. Sometime this year.
Have they hinted at what it's going to be yet?
One thing I'll say about 343 is people are like, "Oh, it's missing basic modes, blah, blah, blah." But like even Escalation Slayer, they clearly put some thought and work into it. Even King of the Hill, when they brought it in, they put some thought and work into it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like when progression does properly come, they're going to put some thought in. What's interesting? Season 3 comes with ranked medals, tiered medals. You know what I mean?
Okay. So like maybe is that like foreshadowing?
I think that's definitely because people want that to come into the EXP progression, right? Like, hey, if I get an overkill, I want more EXP because I got an overkill, right? And I feel like that's the first step to get there. Okay.
All right. Well, that's a good question.
My hopes wanted.
I'm going to fire a few questions at Ari before we go because I forgot to ask you. You said you were Mr. Campaign for all the way up until recently.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Halo campaign?
So keep in mind, he has not played Infinite yet.
Haven't played Infinite yet.
Oh, wow.
Haven't finished it.
Every time you went from Mr. Campaign to not playing Halo Infinite's campaign.
Every time I play Infinite, I'm like, man, I feel bad. I gotta play the multiplayer, bro. Like, I gotta better switch over to multiplayer. I'm definitely gonna finish it. I'm like halfway through. But I think my favorite campaign Okay, my favorite campaign on Legendary would be Halo 4, actually. But my
Really?
favorite campaign in
Interesting.
general, yeah, because like one is what do you call it? Spongy. Like everyone just feels like a sponge in one. It's still
Mm.
fun. I enjoy it because I love Halo. 2 is just that's insane. It's just too
Yeah.
much for me. I couldn't do it. 3 was too easy for me, and then 4 felt perfect. 4 was like difficult, but it was
And
still like
5
really
was
enjoyable, really
really
doable.
tough.
5 is really tough. They're again too spongy, like way too
Mm.
spongy. Infinite so far is fun though, Legendary. So
Dude,
maybe
Infinite, you have all the abilities, especially once you upgrade them, that you can
yeah,
actually survive,
yeah.
man.
I'm always
But-
surprised by like 4. Like a few other guys I play with really like 4's campaign. That's my least favorite.
I like 4 a lot, man. I don't know why I liked it a lot, but I did. Well, of course, I don't know if it compares to like 3 is my favorite, then probably 2, then CE, and then 4. Like it's still like down there, but I enjoyed it. Like I had a lot of fun with it.
Like they're all good games, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Except for, have you
Yeah.
played
Besides,
ODST?
I loved ODST. I didn't like 5 at all, at all, at all, at all. I just sprinted
Yeah.
through the whole campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, the warden just gets tiring, and yeah, it's just
Yeah, even one of
not.
the wardens, like I had to go back and spawn him in, like I messed up or something.
Oh, because you just ran past
I
them?
ran past him. Like,
I will
That's
tell
the
you
thing.
this: Halo 5 plays a million times better with the group. It was designed
I'll
as a
have to try
4-player
that.
game, and it really makes a difference.
Mm.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it,
Package Roast.
it was all right. It was all right.
Hey, we didn't finish it. All right.
Oh, as a group, we didn't finish it. Yeah, I beat it. I beat it. I think I beat Halo 5. I don't know, it was 2 or 3 times. I did do the legendary. I think I did the legendary a couple times. I just never really. I don't know. It wasn't really. Not just the story. People always talk about the story. I like. There's some levels that play well.
Yeah.
Like what do you call it? What was the name? What's the
The Elites planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only level I remember that I was like, "Whoa, this game's like." Pretty
I was
good.
like, if ever the whole game was this, it'd be
Yeah.
freaking awesome. But that was, that was awesome, and then everything, like so many
I remember
levels were just
running
badly
down the
designed.
back of the Guardian. That was pretty cool. That's a pretty that's something Infinite's been missing. Actually, those kind of like really cool moments.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Yeah,
Yeah, you know, I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah, Halo 4 though. I don't know, man. It felt like a corridor shooter,
Yeah.
and the Covenant.
I see why you say that. Yeah,
I think you see-
Prometheans are so boring.
They
I
were,
hate.
they were.
They are the most
I want them to come
boring.
back at Infinite. Abe would uninstall the game if that.
They
happened.
are the most boring enemy. Like fighting them. Like even in 4, like when I'm fighting the Covenant, it's fun.
Yeah,
But when you're fighting the Prometheans, it just goes
Yeah.
like off a cliff, and then
Yeah.
then the AI. I don't know if you ever noticed, like even when you have the 3-way battles, like the Covenant and the Prometheans are fighting each other, and you're kind of sitting back, like in Halo CE, like the game that came out in 2001.
One.
Like that game, you could sit back and watch the Flood and the Covenant, and like you can like maybe kill one of the elites or kill one of the major Floods and turn the whole tide of the battle, and it'll play out differently every single time. Like I remember there was one spot where I'd watch them battle, and I kept trying to get through that section, and every time I just watch them battle out and thin each other out. In 4, the AI would just like. They were like a G.I. Joe cartoon where the main characters just kind of like went back and forth and just shot over each other's heads the whole time. I was like, they didn't kill each other.
I never noticed that at all.
Yeah, so that's the stuff that sticks out to me, man. So
For me,
yeah.
the set pieces stick out to me in Halo 4. Like, like shooting that huge thing with that little beam and it blows up. You know what I mean? Like that beam from
That
the
is
sky.
very specific.
You know what I'm talking about? The satellite.
The huge thing. You're like me in callouts in Halo in the multiplayer. Guys, they're at the thing. On my
Also
body.
for me, like the beginning of that mission where everyone got like vaporized or whatever, like all the
Oh,
humans
yeah,
and
yeah,
tanks
yeah.
get vaporized.
That
And
was
then
cool.
I think that same mission you go down and then it's like a winter wonderland kind of.
And
There's,
you're
like,
you're using a mantis, and the
you're
music
using a
is
mantis there, like
blasting,
the
and
music band
yeah,
was so good.
yeah.
And like
Or
even the first time we used
Infinity.
the
Sorry.
mantis, it was
Midnight.
really
That
cool
last
too.
kind of chase sequence with the friggin' airplane was hype.
That was amazing. Yeah, the chase thing. Also, like I missed the chase sequence, right? Like
Yes.
for an ending
Yes.
because we had Halo Reach without. I mean, Halo Reach's ending was pretty sick too, but I'm like, man, I want a
Mm.
chase sequence again. Like those are so fun.
Halo Reach's ending, man.
So I'm glad we got that again.
Cool. All right. Favorite weapon in all your Halos?
Favorite weapon in every Halo. Okay, you go to Soul first because I need to think about this for a second.
I feel like we've already answered all these ourselves, man. But okay, sure. Halo CE favorite weapon is the
All of them. Like bucket them all.
Out of
Pick
all of
one.
them,
Pick
yeah.
one.
oh pick one overall.
Yeah, overall, not in every one.
Tactical mag. Tactical mag. The H5 tactical mag. That's such a good
Oh, I got
weapon,
an easy one.
bro. I
That's easy.
love
Yeah.
it.
H5 light
What?
rifle. That's mine. That's an
Light
easy.
rifle.
That's an easy
That's
one.
a
Way
good
too
one.
powerful. Way too powerful.
You know what? I just love the feel of the Magnum, the default starting
The
weapon.
default Magnum? Yeah, bro. Like it's either a default Magnum or a tactical Magnum for me. I love both of them. They're so
Wait,
good.
what's
Yeah.
the tactical magnum?
Tactical Magnum, it zooms in like the Halo CE one. So that's why I like that.
Man, I keep forgetting Halo 5 had like a million
Like a million,
weapons
yeah.
added
They
to it
had
after launch.
so many. They had so many weapons.
Did they
And
like disperse
especially,
it into like the main playlist too? Like
I
the
think
main
it all
thing?
all that stuff went into Warzone, right? Like the Warzone is
Yeah.
what. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you didn't play a lot of Warzone, you didn't get to see all
Okay.
the different
Yeah.
combinations and things like that. But
Oh, I like the
yeah,
Stalker too. Stalker's a good weapon actually in Infinite. I
yeah,
try it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Stalker's pretty good. That's the one thing that 343 I think doesn't get enough credit for all the mistakes they've made over
Yeah.
the years. They do get the gameplay and the sandbox and the
Yeah.
They
feel,
do.
the sound, right? Like all
The sound, the
thing-
art, even the art of the weapons are all like really good.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I like the reloading in Infinite. Just the animations just feel really
even
good.
H5, you can see your hand like do the reloading animations in the rocket
Yeah.
and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man, that's something I never really thought about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely some positive. All right,
Yeah.
cool. I think we got into everything. So any final questions that I missed?
Yeah,
Things?
Reeb, you had a bit of a story, right? What was your main accomplishment this land
Oh,
that you
yeah.
went to? What was the main thing?
So, I went to the LAN event, and first things first was the 4v4 attorney. We did all right. We got 45th. Could have done better, but it's all right. And then the next day was the free for all that I was like mentally preparing myself for. And
And free for all is what, 8 players,
free
right?
for all
Only
is
the
8
top 4
players.
make it.
Yeah, only the top 4 make it. There were around 340 contestants that signed up.
And 15
And
minutes. Sorry, all the games last for the maximum
yeah,
15
so
minutes.
after 15 minutes, whoever has the top 4 and the most kills, they move up. And if you tie with 5th or something, then it goes to whoever had the least deaths. So first round is pretty much a breeze, but I made sure to take it seriously. Second
So,
round,
really quick, I started playing too. I know I'm interrupting the story, but my story ends really quick. I played FFA too, and I wanted to give it a shot, right? And so in the first round, it was only 6 people, and I got there, and only 5 people came because some pro player didn't show up, which worked
Eli
out
the
for me.
Ninja. Everyone knows
Eli
him.
the Ninja, yeah. What team does he play for? Complexity?
He's an old competitor, but he's a coach now.
Okay. Oh, okay. Either way, I'm playing. And man, right away, like first off, these are obviously really good people, right? This is literally my first LAN. I got a perfect to start the game off, man. And my brother behind me just screams to the dude I perfected, "You just got killed by a platform." But
That's really funny.
anyways, throughout the game, I'm checking the score because I don't expect to go through round 1. Are you kidding? Like these are really good players, right? I check the score, and like me and one other person are competing for 4th place, 4th and 5th. And by competing, I mean we have 8 kills, he has 8 kills, and the ones above us have 30. So there's like a 20 kill difference between that. But me and him are competing. This guy right next to me, and at the very last minute, like I make it through by 1-2 kills. It felt amazing. Round 2, I got 20 kills, and the next one was like 40. But still,
So you got how many kills in round 1?
I got 12.
I think.
12
Yeah, 12.
kills. Yeah, 12.
My teammate in his round 1, there were 5 people. He got 52 kills.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he's a monster. He's a maniac.
Yeah, 57.
57. Yeah, that
He
guy's not
staked
human.
his entire team.
Yeah, that's just insane. That's
Anyways, that was my story. I made it through. It was awesome. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got 225th ranked on FFA. That's the event.
Yeah, that's not bad. Reba, what's the rest of your story, man?
Oh, so my round 2, my free for all, 8-person lobby, but my controller, the sprint button stopped working, and my triggers were like shooting on their own here and there, and I was like, oh man, that's not good. So then to get my sprint button working, I just had to push really, really hard, but even then it wouldn't work half the time.
And
I got
keep in mind, sorry, Ariba, he G slides a lot. Like if you're watching his gameplay a lot, all he's doing is just sliding through the entire goddamn map off of little hills and crap like that.
Yeah, so that's my like whole gameplay is built off of like sprinting and whatnot. But then I just tell myself, whatever, like I don't need to sprint. It's okay. It turns out I didn't need to sprint, but it's all right. I got 4th that round, and I made it past that round. So the 3rd round onwards, I used my brother's controller, which is like the default controller, and it was difficult. I got 4th in the 3rd round, barely. Like my hands were shaking
Mhm.
after I got for it. Then like
We were
I
watching him.
couldn't
He was
believe
8th
it.
for like 5 minutes. Sick. I'm like, oh my god, it's over, right? And he is not someone that should be third rounded. You got what in Worlds, like 25th or something?
Worlds I got 23rd. Yeah.
23rd, yeah. So that was intense.
Yeah, it was intense. And then every round after that, just barely crawled my way to fourth or third or whatever it was until the semifinals. And that's where I got knocked out. But that was nice. Like top 16. My controller broke, whatever. I definitely could have done better, but it still felt really good to like, get an accomplishment there, especially considering like there were so many other good players in that free for all as well. So that
Yeah.
that was really nice,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, congrats, man.
Yeah,
We'll
thanks.
look forward. We'll have to keep track.
Yeah, right.
So you go by NuclearBlaze when you play Halo, and
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll have to kind of keep a lookout for you in the future, and hopefully see you on one of these teams that are going to be in there, and
Yeah, man.
Hopefully.
at the end. Yeah, man.
I made an edit on the Wikipedia page. I put it as Canadian. Wonder if it's stuck.
Cool. Hopefully someone there.
All good. All right. So
All right.
I think we're at the end now, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we
That was
got
a very
everything?
short show. I don't know why I keep saying it. God damn it.
Well, we can talk. We can talk about.
You know what it
Halo.
is? I blame Mort, actually. I blame if every time they say it's not you having Halo until it starts not on time, we go long. One of these days we're gonna start a minute early and we're gonna have a short show.
Yeah, today we only meant to have a short warm up before the season 3. We'll come back again and with the full panel and
Mhm.
give our impressions of everything. So yeah, just kind of conclude. I think first of all, Arib, I want to thank you again for coming to talk. I think there's a lot of insight hearing from somebody, even for people that are just fans of playing big team and with their buddies and stuff, just kind of like hearing all the intricacies of the sandbox, because it just really, like I said, it really informs and it really adds to the depth of everything you do in the game and why the game is fun. And so it was really great for you to share all that stuff with us. So if you want to like tell people where to find you, go ahead and let them know, man.
Yeah, sounds good. My Twitter's my name, so at NuclearBlaze, and that's pretty much all I use for competitive. I guess I should be streaming more.
What's your Twitch? Is it
My
same thing?
Twitch is NuclearBlaze and then underscore, and then that's my Twitch, yeah. And then I think that's all I use. Yeah, that's all I use.
If
I
you
have
want to check his
YouTube, but I don't
stats
really use
online,
it.
his stupid gamer tag is NuclearBlaze, but with a friggin' capital I instead of an L for the second L. the first?
Yeah, so it's the second I is
Second L.
the second L is an I.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So like that.
I gotcha. So it looks like Blaze, but it's actually BAs or something.
But it's
Okay.
actually BS or whatever it is, yeah.
Someone has
Got
the
it.
name taken and
All right. All right. So where can they find you at?
yeah,
man?
I mean I'm here. I'm on Halo. Sorry, I'm on friggin' this channel. I just released a video recently going through my season 3 impressions. I'm not sure if we'll release like a full season 3 video. I feel like in general we're kind of missing out by not making more Halo content. I'm gonna try and change that. For anyone who doesn't know, we also run a Twitter for this podcast called @YouHadMeAtHalo. That might be getting more active in the next week or two. That's something I'm looking into. Other than that, yeah, check the channel out. Keep an eye on that, and that's where you'll find me.
All right, man. Well, thanks. And then if anybody wants to find me, just find me on Twitter at _mother1. Don't ask me why I did that, but anyways, yeah, _ at mother1. So, and I'll pop up in some podcasts, probably talking about more ABK stuff soon. I don't know.
Oh my god,
I'm so tired
month
of
and a
it,
half, man. That's it. Month and a half.
I hope I can't wait for that to be over. Just let's talk about
Seriously.
games. Let's talk about games, man.
Seriously.
But want to thank everybody who came out to check us out today. Everybody who's in the chat, we always appreciate you. Appreciate the feedback and your support. Come find us over at Xbox Era and go check us out on the forums. We do have a Halo thread there. Feel free to fire some questions off at us there for the next time. But until next time, I guess that is it, man. Signing off. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.